So, let us move on to steps in social work research or the research process. And as in other what is that other science, maybe in natural science and in other social science also, in social work also we start with our research start with problem identification and setting up of goals. So, as we have seen in module 1, research is a scientific investigative process to find answers to questions or to solutions to problems. Once again, let me repeat, research is a systematic and scientific process to identify answers to questions or solutions to problems. So, we have now it is problem, say we fix it as problem or question or problem. Then what is the problem in research is, by the word problem we mean what is the phenomenon under study for which the researcher or the researcher is expected to find out answers or solutions. So, the phenomenon under study, for that there is a problem, we consider it as a problem. So, we have, as a researcher, it is my responsibility to identify or search for answers to questions or problems. So, problem is nothing but our phenomenon under study. So, we do not know at present what is the real answer or the correct answer or the correct solution for that particular phenomenon under study. So, we start with the problem identification. Then how the problem is identified by the researcher? It is nothing but basically a researcher start with data that he accrue or that he collect through or from his experience or his social work practice. We call it as our practice in working with the client's community or target group. So, while working with the target group, we may come across with some problem that we will take up for research. If that problem has the value or if that problem has some element of importance, anything is that problem require anything to be identified newly. So, we have to exhume or unearth some solutions or answers for the particular problem under study. So, basically as a social worker or in social work, we are doing case work, group work, community organization, social welfare administration, social action, and social work research is also one of the methods of research. We have primary and secondary methods of research. In all these exercises, while experimenting these 6 methods, we may come across with various problems or doubts or questions. Then it is our responsibility to find out answers to that particular questions or problems or constraints, etc. So, this is the way from his own experience, a social worker's experience, or from his practice, day-to-day practice of various social work methods, we are identifying problem. And also from the reading, what we listen, what we read, what we think, what we discuss or what we negotiate, from all these we can identify research problem. So, the first element or first step in social work research is problem identification. So, for this, to identify the social work research problem, the researcher needs to have a profound and in-depth knowledge and understanding on various methods and interventions of social work. As I have already explained, we have 3 primary methods and 3 secondary methods in our practice. In all these 3 plus 3, that is 6, we should have a thorough knowledge or in-depth understanding of all these 6 social work methods. So, from that, if a person possesses sufficient knowledge, definitely he can identify some problem. If he is practicing that any of that 6 methods. So, we have to bring together our learning, our experience, our difficulties, our constraints from the field, what we experience in our day to day transaction of social work methods. And also, let us come to some important sources of research problems. One is reading of books, articles, journals, etc. So, we have to extensively read books, articles and journals which are related to our 6 social work methods, or that is our social work practice. So, from our extensive reading of various articles, books and other things, we can identify problems. Also, our academic experience, like our day to day classroom sessions, or when we attend some seminars or discussions, or maybe a kind of exchange of idea with our fellow beings. If I am working with a community, when my day to day transaction of my activities or targets, or what I am discharging. So, from all these we can identify research problem. So, this is basically my academic experiences, and also I can go for discussion with other experts, teachers, farmers, or if I am doing counseling, when I am dealing or discussing with my client, I may get some spark, then I can take it as a research problem. Then the third is field level learning. So, when during our field level practice of methods, or during our field work as part of our curriculum or academic exercises or internships, we are doing field works or visits, exposure programs. We may attend field level training program or to conduct field training programs. All these field level learning exercises will give us insights on some practical problems. So, this is another, for example, if we are doing field work in an agriculture field, see, we are experiencing the attack, or the farmers have a complaint that some new pests are attacking their crop. Then why it is happening? Already we have applied some kind of maybe some organic or inorganic practices as advised by the agriculture officer or agriculture department. Then why it is again that disease or pest attack is happening? Then that is a question to be answered. Then we can go for a study centered around this practical problem the farmers are facing. So, that is the third one. And next is discussions, consultations with experts, researchers. In our day to day practice also, in our social work practice also, we have to discuss various activities We have to go for consultations with the experts, researchers, academicians or practitioners, field practitioners or professional groups and so on. From all these exercises, we can identify a research problem. Next is we can go for brainstorming sessions. So, you can have a group of students or group of experts or group of farmers or group of women or group of self-help group members. Then you can initiate a brainstorming session in respect of a particular phenomena, and that also will give you some elements of problems. Then you can formulate it as a research problem. Identify a research problem through brainstorming sessions. That is also possible. From already conducted research studies also. Some have already conducted some research studies, and when we go through these research studies already conducted by some other persons or researchers or academicians, or any books available in the library, any research material available in the library, then from such books or already conducted research studies also, we can identify problems. While going through these books, that will give you some, and such reading may give birth to another research problem. So, that is sources of research problem. Then coming to steps in problem formulation process. The first steps in problem formulation process, it is very important in research process. As I have already told you, the research steps starts with the identification of problem, and we have seen what is problem, from where we are identifying problems for our study, and what are the sources of this problem also that we have seen and discussed in detail. And here the problem formulation exercise, that starts with the formulating the title of your study. What a title is? So, the title is nothing but that indicates the focus and limits of the study. So, it will give the reader or the user group what is the focus of the study which is going to be conducted, and the limits of the study also, and it gives the reader or the user what the study is all about. Your title of the study gives the reader what the study is all about. While going through the title of the study, a reader or a user can have a better understanding of the focus, limits of the particular study. That means it is mandatory that your title of the study should give or should indicate the focus and the limits of the study. So, always keep the title very simple, brief and attractive. So, it should not be a very lengthy sentence. It should be very brief, simple and attractive. So, it should attract the reader or the learner. That is why it is expected that from the title should be simple, brief and attractive. For example, let us take a study or title as a study on the socio-economic development of the primitive tribal groups in Kerala. So, here the focus of the study is the socio-economic development. So, primitive tribal group is our target community or the unit. So, what we are studying or the study is all about the socio-economic factors of whom? of the primitive tribal tribes in Kerala. So, the study is all about the primitive tribes, and what is the focus? The focus is the socio-economic factors of the development. So, what is the development status of or in terms of socio-economic of the primitive tribal groups? So, the title is like this: a study on the socio-economic development of the primitive tribal groups in Kerala. For as a reader, when I am going through the title, I will get a clear understanding of the focus of the study, and it is also very simple, brief and attractive also. Why? Because it is assessing, or it may be a kind of impact assessment study. What impact? The socio-economic development impact. So, what is the situation of tribal groups in Kerala? So, that is one of the examples. Any title that you can develop, for example, an impact study of watershed projects implemented by Grama Panchayats in Kerala, or any kind of an assessment study of X or Y counseling method. So, these are the titles that we generally give our research. If it is a counseling, we will link it with some focus of counseling, and if it is socio-economic, it is socio-economic study. So, likewise, the title should be simple, brief and attractive. It should give the reader or others or the user group a clear understanding of what the focus of the study and the limits of that study also it should indicate. So, this is title development. The second is building the conceptual frame of the study. So, concepts are, as we have seen in the module 1, concepts are mental constructs. For example, age, gender, height, weight, all these concepts, also such kind of concepts we use in research, as the case may be. If the study is about the population or the socio-economic condition of a particular community, we will go for income classification, their livelihood situation, occupation, education, all those things. So, all such concepts comes under the study that we have to frame in detail. So, a conceptual framework of the study on the basis of the theoretical knowledge of the phenomenon under study. From where the concepts are coming? It is from the theoretical knowledge of the phenomenon under study. So, we have to go for extensive literature review. So, what is the nature of the phenomena, and what are the elements involved in the phenomena, and what are the interrelationships, as we have seen in experimental research method. What is the relationship between the dependent variable and the independent variable? So, that kind of relationship we are assessing. So, the conceptual frame of the study also to be prepared. So, basically this conceptual frame, why we are going for conceptual frame? Because it will give an exact idea of the problem and variables under the study. So, what is your problem and what are your variables? Dependent variable and what are the independent variable is the cost variable, and dependent variable is the impact side. So, what is generating or what is the impact? That is a dependent variable, and what is the cost? That is a independent variable. So, both this problem as well as variables under study, this frame, this conceptual framework will give the researcher and the reader a clear understanding of what is the problem of the study and what are the variables under study. So, basically in research process what we are doing, it is expected that the research is being carried out to know the causal relationship between the variables under study. So based on this conceptual frame, the research objectives and hypotheses are formulated. That is also very important. Why we are going for conceptual framework? Why? The second reason is we have to develop or fix or set our objectives and hypothesis. If it is a statistical study, definitely we have to go for preparing or setting our hypothesis. So formulation of objectives and hypothesis is also possible if we clearly prepare the conceptual framework of our study. So for this, as I have told you in the beginning of this session, that we need to have sufficient literature review. So we have to go for extensive reading on the research problem. So as we have seen in source formulation of research also, we are formulating the research from our reading or academic exercises or academic experiences or field level learning, etc. But here also, once the problem is finalized, again we have to go for literature, extensive reading. What are the literature available? What are the materials or information already or answers or solutions already produced in respect of the problem under study? So to know that we are doing literature review and what is yet to identify, what is yet to invent. So already identified information, solution or answers, and there are some areas or gray or dark where we need to have new researchers. Why? To identify those hidden answers. That is, the literature review will help you to state in detail what is the uniqueness of your study. So that is why the literature review is very important in research process. So based on your literature review, you are identifying the concepts and variables. So preparing a conceptual framework needs extensive literature review. Then coming to the next step is objective setting. So what is objective in study? We have two types of objectives in general. One is general objective and the other is specific objectives. So research objectives, basically these are derived from the conceptual framework of the research that we have seen already. So what is objective? Objective is nothing but it is a statement the researcher is preparing that direct the researcher what aspects of the variables are to be studied. So we have seen some variables, dependent and independent variable, and what aspect of that variables are to be studied. So we have to narrow down the focus of our study based on our variables. Then in such a process, what aspect or what areas of our variables need to be studied by the researcher? That if the researcher is making it in a statement or he is presenting it in a statement form, that is the objective. So that direct to the researcher, that objective direct to the researcher what he or she has to do. And also objective state which elements in the conceptual framework is to be studied or investigated. So the objectives of a particular research study tries to explain or analyze the causal relationship between variables and indicate the expected outcomes of the study. What is expected from the research study. So while going through the objective part, a user or reader will get a clear understanding of what is going to be produced by that particular research study. What are the causal relationships the research is going to identify or analyze based on the variables under study. So, nothing but the analysis process, we will look at that later. Analysis, what is analysis in research? It is nothing but we are assessing the causal relation, we are identifying the causal relationship between variables. When we are doing that, when we are doing the analysis part of the data or information that we collect through data collection process.